Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening, everyone. We all are here to learn Spring Boot along with microservices, right? So first of all, you must have the clarity on what is monolithic as well as microservice-based architecture. Is it clear? Can you hear my voice, everyone? My voice is clear, right? So first of all, you must have the clarity on what is the difference between monolithic architecture as well as microservice-based architecture. So as we discussed in the earlier session, like whenever you develop any application, after developing the application, you have to deploy the application on the web server so that the end user can access that application via browser and internet. Yes or no? So in olden days, what happened? In traditional web application development, total application was deployed on a single server. Application means application consists of files. Yes or no? Application consists of files like design files are there, code files are there, like configuration files are there. Single application consists of multiple files are existing. For example, if you consider a banking application, in a single banking application, multiple files are there. Like let us assume 100 HTML files are there, some 100 Java files are there, some very limited XML files are there, 10 some XML files are there, configuration files are there. Let us assume. Simply you can tell as a Java developer, mostly configuration is a big torture in Java. Different types of configuration files are there, like web.xml, servlet-config.xml, like a lot of configuration files are there, like Hibernate related configurations, like Java configurations, like web.xml files. So different files are there in your application. So after developing the application, we have to deploy the application on the web server. So instead of deploying the individual files to the server, what we'll do, we'll try to convert the total application to a single zip file. That is nothing but WAR file. WAR is nothing but web archive. WAR file. This is nothing but web archive. Total application related files are available in where? This WAR file. So single deployment. Total we'll convert the total application to a single WAR file and deploy on the web server. Instead of deploying the individual files, we'll deploy the total WAR file in the web server. Is it that is your monolithic architecture? Monolithic architecture means application deployment on a single server, and the database server will be there. So multiple users will interact with this single server to access this application, and this server will interact with the database server. In real time, we'll deploy this application on the remote server. Yes or no? And the database will be deployed in database server. And the user will access the application through browser and mobile. But some problems are there in monolithic application. Development will take more time when you work with monolithic application. Development will take more time. Deployment also is a tedious process, very difficult, tough job in monolithic application. Because nowadays in traditional application development, what happened? Multiple deployments are there because of the day-to-day life. A lot of modifications are there. So new features are added. Depending on the client requirement, the features are also added. So whenever you do any modification, every time you have to deploy the application, the server. That is one of the main problem in monolithic application. It is not possible to deploy a single module. Again, you have to redeploy the total application. Redeployment is very tedious process. For example, you already developed one application. If you do any small enhancement, it is not possible to deploy that single enhancement. Again, you have to deploy the total application. That is one of the problem in monolithic architecture. So microservices will provide better solution for all these problems. And fault isolation. Fault isolation is also one of the, some isolation problems are there in monolithic architecture. For example, if you develop any application, as I told you, if you develop any application like some IRCTC application, like the customer will try to interact with this IRCTC application to perform different operations. Yes or no? Like if you take some IRCTC application, what is happening? This is your application. Total application consists of different types of files that are available. This application is deployed on the web server. This is your web server. Yes or no? And here a lot of services are providing by this IRCTC, like booking service, like cancellation service, like PNR status check service, like search the train details or cancel the train details, book the train details. Total application is deployed on a single server, and the database related to this application is deployed on a database server. This is your database server. Yes or no? Database is a software which is used to store the data in the form of tables, which is collection of rows and columns. Now, when the Tatkal service was open, when the Tatkal timings means customer will open this application to book the tickets. So, lot of customers will connect to this particular server. 100 users means how many customers? 100 customers are there. 1 lakh users means 1 lakh customers are there. 1 lakh browsers, 1 lakh laptops, 1 lakh devices, or 1 lakh mobiles. So, multiple users are connecting to the server to access this application. Is it clear? Now the server also will have some capacity. For example, the single server can handle 1,000, 10,000 requests. But if the number of requests are coming to the server is 1 lakh, so some performance issues will be there. The server may not respond properly. That is one of the main problem here. If the server is capacity of the server is very less, but the number of users who are communicating with the server is more. So burden on the server will be increased and the performance will be decreased. Server cannot respond for the client request. So that is one of the problem. Performance problem is there. That is the with monolithic application. For larger based applications, for larger projects like Amazon or Netflix or Uber, Swiggy, like there are a lot of heavy customers, heavy traffic websites will be there. These heavy traffic websites, if we develop in olden days with monolithic architecture, some performance issues are there. Coming to the second point, if any single module is not working, scalability. There is one problem with isolation problem will be there. Isolation means if one of the service is not working within the entire application, the other services also will fail working. The total application will stop working. For example, if any error is there in a single module, the total application will not work. That is also one of the main problem. Is it clear? That is another problem in monolithic architecture. Some isolation problem is there. Is it clear? If one of the module fail working, the total application will fail works. That is one of the problem in monolithic architecture. Monolithic architecture means total application deployed on single server, and that application communicate with the database server. Is it clear? First problem is burden on the server will be increased, performance will be decreased. That is the one problem. Second one is isolation problem. Isolation problem means if one of the service is not responding properly, the total application will stop working. That is another problem. And another problem is development is also a tedious process in monolithic architecture. For larger applications, it is not supported to independent development of the modules is not possible. Maybe multiple developers will work. For example, multiple developers will work on booking module, and multiple developers may work on cancellation module, something like that. But the independent module development simultaneously is not possible. Means booking module and cancellation module and PNR status module, all the modules cannot develop simultaneously. Multiple independent development is not possible in monolithic architecture. And in monolithic architecture, one more point is the total application must be developed in a single technology. Mixed technology stack is also not possible. For example, if you develop any application in Java, total modules and everything you have to develop with Java only. Like Java related technologies only it will support. Half Java, half .NET, half is some other technologies. It is not supported with monolithic. So that why to develop the single application, multiple technologies means depending on the requirement. Developers also half of the modules for the resources. Multiple resources are there in Java. Some of them are in .NET. Some of them are in Django, or some Python related libraries will be there. That Python related libraries are not supported by Java. So that module, the streaming data purpose libraries is very powerful for Python. That related tasks can be developed in what? Python, and some of the tasks in Java, and some of the tasks in .NET, something like that. Because one technology is powerful in one area. So if you the entire application, instead of developing with a single technology, if multiple technologies will support to involve in developing a single application, it is very beautiful. So that is not possible in monolithic architecture. That is possible in microservice based architecture. Mixed technology stack will be supported, will be there. And another problem in monolithic architecture is multiple deployments are required. Multiple deployments means single deployment actually. Monolithic architecture supports single deployment. Single deployment means what? Every time when you do any modification, every time you have to deploy the total application. It is not possible to deploy a single module in monolithic architecture. Is it clear? For example, if your application, if you, because day to day what happen, the number of requirements, client requirements are changing. Is it clear? Client requirement is changing day to day. Are you following? Client requirements means what? Because of this new enhancements, some mobile came, some lot of other new enhancements came. So if you do any modification in the existing application, again redeployment is required. That is in monolithic architecture. Every time we have to deploy. And another problem in monolithic architecture is all are the limitations. We cannot solve problems. Still, monolithic is good for small applications. Microservice is very popular for larger applications where the number of users are more than microservice is also very recommended. Your Spring Boot will support both monolithic as well as microservice based architecture. And monolithic is tightly coupled between the components actually, not tightly coupled between the layers. Tightly coupling is problem is solved with IOC container in Spring MVC. That is tightly coupling between the layers. I am telling now. Here I am telling tightly coupled between the components. Components means one module and another module. So one module is depending on what? Another module. I'm not talking about the coding part. Tightly coupling between the components. One module is tightly coupled with another module. If any error will come in this module, the other module will not work. If any service is failed in one module, the other modules will not work. This is not your IOC loosely coupling. This is tightly coupling between the components. First problem in limitations of monolithic applications. If the burden on the server will be increased, so load balancing is there. Deploying the single application on multiple servers, still it is there, but it will not provide that much efficiency, performance to the customers. So first problem is burden on the server means performance will decrease. Second one is isolation problem will be there. Isolation problem means if one service will fail, the total application will stop working. Third one is development also will be it is also a lengthy process. Independent development is not possible, monolithic architecture. And third one is, are you following everyone? Deployment. Single deployment every time when you try to deploy. Is it clear? Every time when you try to do the modification, every time you have to deploy. That is also one problem. Another one is tightly coupling between the components. Is it clear? Always as the application, the number of users are more, it is become a tedious process actually in the application development. These are the problems with which architecture? Not problems, limitations of monolithic architecture. So what microservice is telling? Microservice is telling developer, you don't worry. Developer, you divide your total application to multiple layers. You develop an application, it is fine. You divide your total application to multiple modules. Divide your total application. If you develop any application, application consists of modules. Multiple modules are available in a single application. Module 1 is there, here module 2, here module 3 and module 4. And here you have module 5. Like multiple modules are there here. Are you following everyone? Now let us assume this is your booking module is there. This is your search module is there. This is your cancellation module is there. And this is your PNR status module is there. PNR module is there. And this is your railway module is there, administrator module. If you take an IRCTC application, what are the different modules that are, what are the different users who are interacting with this application means the administrator will be there, employee will be there, railway employee will be there, and the customer will be there, and the agent will be there. There are different types of modules are there in a single application. So what the administrator of the IRCTC will do? Administrator will try to what? Administrator of IRCTC, what he will do? He will try to add the train details. He will add the source details, destination details. He will add the state details. He will add the city details. He will add the location details. He will add the destination points, station details, all the other things. Yes or no? That is the responsibility of the administrator and employee of the or administrator of the IRCTC. He will add all these details. The train is moving from which state to which state, which city to which city, or which place to another place, source, destination, etc. And the employee of the IRCTC, what he will do? He will add the train details. He will add the train details. Train means ticket details. Employee will add the ticket details, booking details, ticket details. He will add. Daily, he will upload the train starting time, ending time, reaching time, fare details, and all the other details he will add. Is it clear? The customer of IRCTC, what he will do? He will book the train details. He will book the train tickets. He can cancel the train tickets. He can search the train tickets. He can check his PNR status. All these things he will do. Customer, and the agent will have a separate login. He can also do the same thing what customer can do, but he will have some separate access will be there. Like lot of modules will be there in the single application. In olden days, total application kept on a single server. When Tatkal server was open, as the number of customers are more, then some problems are there. As the burden on the server will be increased, performance issues are there. And if one service is not working properly, the total application will stop working. So there are a lot of problems can. Actually, monolithic is very good in olden days, but nowadays what happened as the increased demand for this technologies, and as the number of users are more who are using the internet, and they are expecting the services from that via internet, then microservices architecture came into the picture. Microservices is purely what? Yes, running status, very good. Train running status also you can check. Is it clear? Train running status, all these things. Lot of modules are there. I'm not writing all of them. If you take one application, let us assume if IRCTC is very big application. If you consider IRCTC application, minimum until of my knowledge, minimum 200 to 300 services IRCTC will provide. Some catering service will be there. Some technical team monitoring module will be there. Like multiple modules are there in a single application. So what microservice is telling? As I told you in monolithic architecture, all are tourist packages will be there. Yes, lot of things will be there. We are not sufficient to analyze. That is the job of the business analyst to analyze the total market. Are you following, everyone? But what this microservices is telling, developer, don't deploy the don't development, independent development. Microservice first point is divide your application to multiple modules. Divide application into multiple modules. Multiple modules. And even previously also we used to divide the application to multiple modules. But development point of view, independent development is recommended. Independent development is recommended. Independent development is recommended. Are you following, everyone? Independent development. Independent development means divide. That is the main story of Agile model also. That is why Agile became very popular. Actually, microservice will fit for perfectly for the projects which are following the SDLC methodology. Which methodology? Agile model. Is it clear? In the last session, I told you about this waterfall model. And this is waterfall model means, first of all, when you develop any application, gather the requirement. Requirement gathering is the first step. Yes or no? Whenever you develop any application, first we need to gather the requirement from the client, and then we need to do the analysis. And then who will do the requirement gathering and analysis means business analyst. And after gathering the requirement and analysis, project manager along with business analyst and team of experts, they will prepare some document called SRS, which consists of the project architecture diagram, flowcharts, algorithms, data flow diagrams, sample screens, database tables. They will prepare one script. If you before going to the movie shooting, first they will prepare the script. Director along with the team of experts, they will sit and they will try to take one office and they will prepare the script, and they will divide the script into different scenes. Scene number 1, scene number 10. Scene number 1, heroine introduction in their heroine house. Scene number 10, heroine father show his love towards his daughter. Scene number 15, hero entered to heroine house. Scene number 25, again hero and heroine father given warning to hero. Scene number 56, hero and some fight is there between the villains and hero at heroine house. So if you observe clearly, scene number 1, scene number 5, scene number 15, scene number 25, scene number 56, these all are available in the same place. Yes or no? So what happened? They will plan for the shooting. They will plan a shooting schedule. Shooting schedule for 1 month or 25 days. Did you understood? In the same place. So in the similar manner, any planning, without planning, development is not possible. Nothing is possible. Are you following everyone? So planning is very, very important. Anybody missed the previous classes, you can watch Satya Technologies YouTube channel. Please subscribe to satyatech.com. It is a completely free batch with good quality training. We will not charge a single rupee for this classes. Okay. Please promote this batch to your friends and be expert in coding. Coding also will make you expert. Just go to youtube.com. There you can type satyatech.com. Please subscribe to this channel. Here you can see Satya Technologies. There you can subscribe to this channel and you can watch the videos. YouTube live is also going on. Are you following? Please subscribe to that channel. Please subscribe to this channel. Okay. Are you following everyone? I will explain. Give me some time. So that's the point I'm telling here. And this is what the Agile model, what we have to follow. First of all, you must have the knowledge on Agile model. Waterfall model means requirement gathering must be done. In the initial stage, you have to gather the total requirements belongs to your project and then start doing the total designing related to your project and start coding and testing and then support and maintenance. But Agile model, yesterday I explained about Waterfall model and V model. Anybody missed, you can watch that video. So Agile model means divide your requirement into different modules. Agile is a mini waterfall model. So divide your total application to multiple tasks actually. Divide your application to multiple tasks. If you understand the apartment construction in olden days, how the apartment construction was happened, total they used to construct what? Phase by phase. They used to construct it phase by phase in olden days. As an after completion of, they have not followed any proper architecture. They use after completion of the total, first they used to construct the total pillars, and after construction of total pillars, slab, and after construction of slab, they used to construct the complete the flooring work for first floor, second floor, third floor, something like that. Phase by phase, they are not used to construct the building. Nowadays, phase system came. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, so on. That is what your microservices. Divide your total application to multiple tasks actually. This is your microservices. So here if you observe clearly, that's what business analyst will gather the requirement from the client by conducting lot of techniques are there, requirement elicitation techniques are there, by conducting workshops, by conducting interviews, by through some documents, through some brainstorming techniques. If you take one, for example, if the software company wants to develop one IRCTC application, what is required? First of all, business analyst will identify the stakeholders. Stakeholders means the employees who are working in IRCTC, the key employees who are working in IRCTC, the railway employees, the administration department, and they will try to meet all these. All people are called as stakeholders. First, what they will do, business analyst, they will conduct some workshops. They will conduct some seminars or on one common day, and they will try to ask some questions to these stakeholders, and they will understand the business requirements, and they will conduct some interviews to gather the requirements, some document analysis, or they will divide the total stakeholders into different groups, some brainstorming techniques, preparing questions, and expecting answers from them. Or some of the business analysts will stay in the client place for 2 months and 3 months and observe their work environment. Lot of techniques are there. These all will be followed by business analyst. Yes or no? Or banking department, whatever, any application you take, the same process will be followed. And after business analyst will gather the requirements from the stakeholders and prepare the documents. Two types of documents will be there. One is business requirement document. Other one is functional requirement document. Business requirement document related to the business. What is the internal operations that the business is performing in the company? What actually their business is and how manually that business is working. That is the business requirement document. Functional requirement document means technical documents. How functionally it is possible, what technical concepts are required. That is separate document. So that is the reason Agile model is very powerful. So what is happening in Agile model? First of all, business analyst will gather the requirement from the client, and business analyst will prepare what? Business analyst will gather the requirement from the client, and then business analyst will prepare what? One document. System requirement specification, not software requirement specification. It is system requirement specification. This document again consists of HLD and LLD, high level design and low level design. And total requirements are divided into multiple epic. Epic is nothing but a collection of stories. Divide your total application to multiple modules. All the modules belongs to a particular category kept in one epic. Means the requirements that was gathered at the initial stage, that is called as epic. And the requirements that will come in future, there comes under epic 2. This is epic 1, epic 2. Is it clear? Epic is collection of stories. Epic is collection of stories. If you know Ramayana, Mahabharata, these are epics. Epic is nothing but a collection of stories. But all the stories related to one category kept in one parva. Are you following? That is called as epic. Means the point here, what you have to understand means, if you want to construct a building, construction of pillar, construction of slab, construction of floor, construction of walls, construction of some kitchen, construction of some washrooms. So divide your total application to multiple stories, tasks. Story is nothing but a task. So initially what you have to do, the stories related to particular category kept in one sprint. So what is sprint means? Sprint is nothing but a collection of stories. For example, construction of pillar consists of 100 tasks are there, or some 10 tasks are there. These 10 tasks kept in one sprint. Construction of slab kept in another sprint. Like multiple sprints are there. Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. Like multiple sprints are there. So first of all, what I am telling to tell here is, business analyst will gather the requirement and he will keep all the requirements in one epic. Epic is collection of stories, and the stories belongs to a particular category kept in one sprint. The related stories belongs to one category kept in one sprint. And once one sprint is ready, then the planned story is called as sprint. Unplanned story is called as sprint backlog. Once when the sprint is ready, sprint planning will be done. Sprint planning means who will develop these stories, who will, how many teams are required to develop these stories, how many technical teams are required, how many non-technical teams are required, how many network engineers are required, how many resources are required. These all will be, some analysis will be done. That is called as sprint planning. What softwares are required, how many scrum teams are required. What is a scrum? Scrum is nothing but team of members who are involved in developing the stories. So who will develop this story means developer, designer, tester, team lead. These all are the members of this scrum team. The size of the scrum team is maximum 5 to 7 people will be there in a scrum team. Team of experts like designer will be there, developer will be there, tester will be there. And the scrum team is responsible to develop the stories. Actually, these stories, because by following the agile model only, microservice architecture also became very popular. There is a link between agile methodology. It is mandatory to use agile model if you want to work with microservice architecture. If you want to develop any microservice architecture, 100% you have to follow this agile model. Then only it is very successful. Are you following? So scrum meetings are daily meetings. So now what is your job means you are the member of this scrum team. Is it clear? You are a developer, no? Developer is a member of the scrum team. Means in olden days what happened, developer is in separate location, tester is in separate location, designer is in separate location in waterfall model. Designer will do his designing work. After completion of the total designing of the application, then developer will enter. He will try to write the coding. And after completion of the coding of the total application, the tester will enter. So there is no proper communication interaction between the designers, developers, testers, database developers. So what this Scrum is telling, all of you must sit in the same place. All the developer, designer, everyone must try to sit in same place. Is it clear? That is nothing but your Scrum. Scrum is nothing but team of members who are involving in developing the story. Yeah, Sandeep, tell me, what's your doubt? Sandeep?
Sorry, sir. By mistake, I raised hand.
Okay, no problem. See, this is very important information for a developer who want to become a software engineer. Utilize these sessions, very important. First, as a developer, you have to improve your basic requirement skills, common sense. These all are very, very important. Today's generation main problem is you're thinking that you're expert in coding. You don't need to become expert in coding. You must be able to understand the requirement given by your clients or your managers or your team leads. That is your main job. First, if you understand the requirement, debugging skills are very, very important. Today's generation main problem is they know how to write the code, but they are not able to understand the requirement. What is the work they have to do in the company, they are not able to understand. If you don't know what you are doing, it is very difficult to implement it. Spring Boot is nothing but just implementation of microservices. First, you must know what is microservice, what is the role of developer in microservice, how developer will involve in working with microservice, what projects we have to go for microservice. That clarity you must have. Are you following? Don't be hurry. This is not a very hurry batch that I will complete within. This is not a one-day workshop. I am telling I will give nearly 45 days. I will give what? A complete free batch we are giving. Microservice implementation with Spring Boot. Are you following, everyone? So utilize this service, promote this batch. Tomorrow there is no class. Next class will be on Monday. Monday I have to see all your friends also must attend. Ask them to utilize. Monday definitely I will start this microservices practical sessions. Sorry, Spring Boot practical sessions. First we'll start with monolithic and then we'll go for microservice based architecture. Spring MVC also I will try to explain. You don't worry. Is it clear? We'll try to work with the Spring MVC. Slowly we'll enter into microservices. Just to get the clarity, I am explaining. Okay. Please promote your friends, and Monday onwards, we may not give YouTube live. Definitely have to attend the classes. That is mandatory. Don't think that YouTube live will be available. This is a free batch. Attend the classes. Is it clear? Then definitely you'll get the clarity. So Scrum team means Scrum is nothing but team of members who are involving in developing the stories. Scrum of members who are involving in developing the stories. And that is what this agile architecture. There are three types of members will be there. See, this is called as Scrum. Is it clear? Divide your total application to multiple tasks. Is it clear? And these all stories, the stories relate to a particular category, keep in sprint. For example, if you take an Amazon application is there. In Amazon, multiple modules are there. Let us take a real-time example. Some product module is there. Some cart module is there. Some customer module is there. Some admin module will be there. Some agent module will be there. Like multiple modules are there in Amazon. Admin module, some agent module will be there. Like a lot of modules are there. So all the stories belongs to admin. Keep in one sprint. First, administration role will be important. Admin will add the country details. He will add the state details. He will add the city details. He will add the product this agent details. He'll give permission for the agent. He will add his product details, item details. Admin will approve his details. Agent, like the product details will be there. Customer will purchase the product. The customer can add the product to the cart. Customer can order the product. Like multiple modules are there. So divide your total application to multiple sprints. Sprint is nothing but a collection of stories. The total tasks belongs to admin captain sprint 1. The total task belongs to agent captain sprint 2. The total task belongs to product captain sprint 3. Like that. Finally, all if you mix, what is ready means your application is what? Ready. Did you understood, everyone? So this is your total application. Divide your application to multiple stories. Keep that story in one sprint. And I will show you how to do some real-time tools also. I'll try to cover. Data JPA will cover. Some containers will try to cover. Everything I'll cover. Don't think free batch means that is just for 1 day or 1 week. I'll give you more quality, more than if you pay outside minimum 10,000 they are charging. Here completely free with good quality. Practical sessions also free. Did you understand, everyone? So that's the point I'm telling. These several incremental releases is called as sprint. Sprint is collection of what? Stories. Planned story is called as sprint. Unplanned story is called as sprint backlog. Okay, na. So Scrum, who will develop these stories means Scrum. Scrum is nothing but team of members who are involved in developing this story. So who will develop this sprint? Developers. Designers will be there. Developer will be there. Tester will be there. These all people who are involved in developing this sprint, that is called as Scrum. Is it multiple releases? There are 3 types of roles are there. One is product owner, Scrum master, and Scrum team will be there. Product owner is generally a project business analyst. What he is telling, we have to develop this bulb. Scrum master is telling, can we develop this product for a particular client? He is telling, yes, we can develop. So Scrum team. Is it clear? Finally, this team must ready to develop this particular what? Product. You are one of the member in this particular team. You are a developer, no? You are the member of this Scrum team. He is a developer. She is a designer. He is a developer. He is a tester. Like these all will not test the total application. Single module development will be done by this Scrum team. Okay, na? And here daily Scrum will be there. Daily Scrum meeting means daily stand-up meetings will be there. The Scrum team, Scrum master will be there. Scrum master is the head of the Scrum team. He is like a coach. He will identify any problems are there, any tasks are there. Daily he will have a meeting with the Scrum team. 2 questions will be asked. One is what work done yesterday and what work done today. What you are planning to do today and what work done yesterday. 2 questions they will ask. If any critical issues are there, he will try to deploy one senior developer in that particular Scrum team and try to rectify that particular errors. Are you following? But anytime in agile methodology, task in waterfall model, if any problem is there, people used to skip. If any problem is there, people used to tell, this is not my problem, this is designer problem, or this is the tester problem. But in agile methodology, it is a teamwork. Purely it is a teamwork. So once when the sprint development is done, sprint review will be done. Sprint is nothing but a collection of stories. Sprint is nothing but some reviews. Here I told what a sprint. Sprint is collection of some stories. No, after development of the stories, what will happen? Some sprint review will be done. So whether the tasks are developed perfectly or not. And once one sprint review is done, some party will be given by the client. So developer team along with the team of members will try to complete. So until now, what is completed? Total project development is completed or only one module is completed? Tell me. Until now in agile methodology, what we have discussed? Business analyst gather the requirement. Business analyst will try to divide some epic and these epic is divided to multiple sprints and these sprints was assigned to the Scrum team. Now Scrum team developed total application or only one module, one sprinter? One application consists of one sprint or multiple sprints? Respond, please. All of you.
Multiple sprints.
One developer now at this moment. Now at this moment, I am talking about total application or only one Scrum team.
One Scrum team.
Application will be
Now I
done,
am
sir.
talking. Now I am talking about what? One Scrum team. I'm talking about one Scrum team. Like multiple, what are there? Scrum teams are there working parallelly in Agile model. Means Scrum team, one Scrum team is working on which module? One Scrum team is working on product module. One Scrum team is working on product module, and one Scrum team is working on what? Cart module. One Scrum team is working on what? Customer module. Like multiple Scrum teams will work parallelly. So every module is you have to design as like a microservice. Every module you have to design like what, all of you? Microservice. Like multiple your total application divided into multiple what? Services. Service 1, service 2, service 3, service 4, service 5, service 6, service 7, service 8, service 9, like multiple. Your total application divided into multiple services. Sir, this is your microservice based architecture. Monolithic architecture means single application deployed on single server and single database server. But microservice based architecture means divide your total application to multiple services. So multiple deployments are required. If any enhancements are there, again we need to deploy. This is what your which architecture? Agile model. Are you following? You people are not showing interest to learn the subject, I think. You're showing very interest to complete the syllabus fastly. But if your attitude is like that, don't come to my class. I'm the person who will complete the syllabus, complete syllabus fastly. You must have some patience. First, theoretically, you must be strong. Then only you can survive as a developer. Very bad attitude for these Java developers are, they will not spend that time. They will not, they want the outputs very fastly, and they're attracted for theories. Theory means about the internal parts, what JVM will do, what the containers will do, how to develop the web servers, how to develop Java, how we can develop our own language. But one point I'm seriously telling, you will not get the jobs in these areas. You will get the jobs in the areas where you have to develop the applications. Okay, now application development means that is possible with what? Your Spring, main important is Spring MVC, Spring ORM, Spring AOP, Spring Spring Boot, Spring Context, Spring Boot. These all are very, very important. In order to know all these topics, you must be strong in Spring Core. Is it clear? What companies are expecting? Be strong in that area. Don't feel happy by learning features of Java, history of Java, father of Java, versions of Java. Don't waste your time. Is it clear? First, my way of teaching is first, if you know Agile properly, directly, that is followed by your microservices also. Both the structure is same. Are you following, everyone? At the end, I will cover this. Maybe in future, I may have some real-time project also. Front end, I will use Angular or React, and back end, I will teach microservices. And here, database servers will be there, and communication will be there. There is a hot cake in the market. Front end Angular or React, back end microservices, and here database, multiple databases, cloud deployments, Docker, Jenkins, code integration, GitHub repository. Lot of stuff will be there. Is it clear? Yeah, REST microservice is nothing but creating as a RESTful services only. So what are the advantages of microservices? If you're not interested, in fact, I will also not motivate it. Is it clear? Advantages of microservices. Spring Boot is different, microservice is different. Microservice is a theoretical concept. Spring Boot is a framework to achieve these microservices. So the main advantage of microservices is independent deployment. Independent development. First point is independent development. Development will done independent, is not possible in monolithic architecture. Here independent, divide your total application to multiple services. Independent development is possible, and independent deployment. If you do any modifications, you no need to deploy the total application every time. In monolithic architecture, every time we have to what? Deploy the total application. You people are not listening. Why you have to complete Agile? Are you following? Advantage of microservices. First, that's what I'm telling here. First one is independent development and independent deployment. Independent development and independent deployment. Cell is also like your, it is an architecture actually. Same, we just now completed our Agile model also. This is what your Agile. Divide your total application into multiple tasks. And then business analyst will gather the requirement. Business analyst will divide your requirements into multiple tasks. These all tasks are kept in one sprint. And then after developing of the, after gathering the what, after dividing into sprint, sprint review will conduct. The main aim of the sprint review is at the end of each sprint, the team has to produce a coded, tested and usable piece of software. And sprint interviews will, sprint review will identify the number of resources that are required, the sprint start time, sprint end time, how many scrum teams are required to develop these stories, any support required, any softwares required. These all sprint review will done before the starting the development. First they divide the tasks now, and they will try to analyze. And after that, one sprint review is completed, story begins. Story begins means development started. Development started means story begins means development started. Development started means developer will involving in developing the stories. So who will develop these stories? Scrum. Scrum is nothing but team of experts who are involving in developing the story. After developing the development of the story, 3 people will involve: product master, scrum master, and scrum team. Product master is generally a traditional project manager or business analyst who will fill the roles of scrum master. Product master will have overall knowledge on the project. The role of product master is key in the Agile methodology. Scrum master is the coach for the scrum team, helping the team to develop the best work, which will give 100% efficiency output. Scrum master responsibility is to conduct the scrum meeting. Scrum meeting is daily meeting. The main aim of the scrum meeting is to check the work that was done by the scrum team in a daily basis. Scrum team in a daily basis. Meetings are typically held in the location and at the same time each day. Ideally, a scrum meeting is held in the morning. Two questions they will ask. One is what work done yesterday and what work will done today. Scrum master will report to the product master is a business analyst. He has the complete knowledge on the product what they are developing. Scrum master will have the project manager who technically he is strong. Domain knowledge point of view, product master will have good comment. So based on the scrum meeting, a burn down chart was prepared. Burn down chart is nothing but it will shows that how fastly the scrum team is involving in developing the stories. Generally in Agile methodology, scrum here one day was divided as 1 point actually. 1 day is considered as 8 hours. So one story means one task. For example, one login page is there. That is one story. To develop that particular login page, some 3 points, 3 into 8 hours, 24 hours to complete that story. Means client will give billing only for that particular time period. This is a burn down chart. Client will observe this burn down chart. He will check that how many stories are pending, how many are under development, how many development is completed. He will observe this burn down chart. This burn down chart will helpful to develop the stories fastly and efficiently. This is how your Agile model will be there. And again, testing methodologies are also there. So in the similar manner, how Agile is there, your microservice also, your total requirement is divided into multiple what? Stories or multiple tasks. Every task is considered as a microservice. For every service, you have one database will be there. Every service will have one separate database. Every service. Okay, na? Separate deployments are there. Independent development is there. Independent development is there. And independent deployment is there. And mixed technology stack is there. Mixed technology stack means you can develop the microservices in different technologies. For example, this microservice is developed in Java. This microservice is developed in .NET. This microservice developed in Python. But all belongs to the same project. I told you, no. One microservice in Java, you can develop with Java Spring Boot. And this microservice is developed in ASP.NET. It was developed by using ASP.NET Core. These all the technology frameworks will support this microservice architecture. This is your Spring Boot, and this is your developed in Python. Python you can develop by using Flask. Okay, na? These all related to single application only. Is it clear? Because if you consider something like some Python is there, Python is powerful for streaming data libraries. The libraries that are provided by Python to work on streaming data, that flexibility is not provided by Java or .NET. So that microservice you can go for this DJ Flask you can develop. Similarly, .NET is popular for some other module. You can go for .NET. Similarly, some microservice you can develop in Android for mobile apps. Like it is a mixed technology stack. Multiple technologies will support these microservices. And point number 4, that is not our job. How the web project cost decide, we are not involved in that area. Next, another one is fault isolation. Fault isolation means what? Let us see. Fault isolation means if one service will fail, even the other services will work. That is the main advantage of microservices. Fault isolation means if one service is failed. For example, this is one microservice, PNR status is there. For example, PNR status, this service is not working. But meanwhile, customers can interact with the other services, booking service, cancellation service, other services. This is not possible in monolithic architecture. If one service will fail, total application will fail. So here we are discussing about the microservices architecture. Are you following, everyone? Advantage of microservice, fault isolation, and granular scaling is there. That is also very, very important. Scaling is very difficult with monolithic architecture. Scaling means when the number of users are more. Is it clear? That is, you can consider as a multiple deployment. Means deployment will become a tedious process. Granular scaling means it supports multiple deployments. And when the number of users are more also, it is very difficult to monitor the performance. Here, as every service is kept on separate cloud servers, so these problems will not be there in microservices. Easy to maintain, easy for testing, Mostly testing is very, very, very easy for microservices. Develop the application. Data moves between the microservices. And some scenarios, what will happen? One microservice will speak with another microservice also. PNR service, some booking service, some train service, like microservice also will communicate with each other. So data moves between the microservices. Data moves between microservices using some concept called dump pipes will be there. There is one concept called dump pipes, such as event brokers. These all we'll try to discuss in future. Is it clear? Or some REST APIs, lightweight data transfer will be there between service to service, and easy for testing. Smaller code-based applications. Smaller code will be there in microservices. Are you following? So it is very easy to handle the small code compared with monolithic architecture. Complexity of the project will be heavy in monolithic architecture. Maintenance is easy. Lot of advantages are there with microservice based architecture. How to auto increase the servers? That is by using cloud administrator will be there. His responsibility is that you are a developer, just you learn how to develop the application. Cloud engineer will be there. Cloud also two parts will be there. Cloud administrator will be there, and cloud integrations will be there. You people will support, definitely I'll give more knowledge on DevOps integration, AWS, and all the other stuff I will speak. I think you people are addicted for academic style of learning. Sir, no, if you people are addicted with academic style of learning, load balancing you will not do. Cloud administrator job is that. If you are addicted for academic style of learning, don't come to my batch, please. If you want a job within 2 to 3 months perfectly, sir, whatever the stuff you will teach, definitely will get the job means, please come to my batch. Because I cannot teach this academic style or features of Java, history of Java, the platform dependent, platform independent. That style of learning is outdated almost. Companies are not there. They're asking directly question because now the syllabus of Java is totally increased. Full stack developer, full stack syllabus. They're asking very bullet questions. Front end Angular, back end microservices, database server, some DevOps real-time tools like Jenkins, like Gradle, like Maven, like GitHub, like Postman, like Swagger. They're very much clear. If you're not interested, means it is very difficult to continue the sessions. Also, my dear friends, utilize this opportunity because Hyderabad is these colleges, these all are locked down. That is the reason we kept this special offer. Did you understood? So try to utilize how we are theoretically we are strong, practically also I will make you strong. You don't worry. We'll develop one simple application also. Multiple tasks are there, no microservices, multiple microservice based projects will try to develop. Okay, utilize this service properly. Otherwise, you will be the loser. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll continue. Bye. Not tomorrow, Monday. Next class will be on Monday. Without theoretical knowledge, this is not theory here. This is the very powerful topics what I'm covering. Without the knowledge of this, how can you write the coding? How can you write the coding? Did you understood? Try to focus, try to have some common sense, try to utilize the service properly. Thank you. Bye. Monday, same time, 7:30. Timings are fixed. Please promote this batch to your friends. Is it clear? Ask them to attend. From Monday onwards, actual Spring Boot